Hello, everyone. Welcome to the panel. This panel is about everyone gets a token, good or bad. We are really seeing everything getting tokenized, not just things like stocks and bonds, but also things like content, culture, and others can be getting tokenized. And this can be a real shift in the sense that money creation is not monopolized by government, but it's becoming more democratic in a way. And also there's an interesting estimation that by 2030, the tokenized market will hit $2 trillion. And that's just a base case estimated by McKinsey. So now this panel, we have 3 experts, and we're going to discuss if this trend of tokenizing everything is real, or does it have like real impact, or is it like overhyped? Yeah, happy to have this panel. And before going into the detail, let's do the introduction. Maybe, yeah, Ken, yeah.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Ken. Right now I'm from Saros team. Basically for Saros we are building a deck stack on Solana. I'm really happy to be here and give you guys a few takes, maybe fierce takes, and yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Colin from MetaDAO. We're using markets to make decisions for organizations on chain instead of token voting. This is my 2nd year at Solana Summit APAC, so I'm glad that I could be back. So excited for this.
So my name is Mendel. I'm founder of Unitas. We're the first Eurobank stablecoin backed by JLP on Solana. Yeah.
Awesome. So the topic sounds a bit like a debate topic, but I actually don't know, if the 3 gentlemen, no, I don't know their positions yet. But I mean, it's like panel, but I think they're just going to be saying their own views. But the first question, is, as this title also says, everyone gets a token at this movement. Do you guys see this like movement positively or negatively? In other words, in the future, do you think there should be millions of tokens, or should there be just like BTC, Sol, like only selected a few tokens plus fiat? How do you guys think about this trend? Maybe Ken, you can go first.
Sure.
Yeah.
So basically I think that there's 2 point of views from this. So the first point of view is going to be for the traders. So basically for the traders, I think that is better for them because for the traders they love a lot of high risk, high reward kind of thing. So the more tokens there, the more things to the traders to bet on, and basically there's create more opportunity for them to actually like gain more rewards or lose it. But like for the builders, I think that it's going to be like a 50-50 case because for the builders, for the traditional kind of way, we have tokenomics with different supply for each and every one token. But like for now, it's going to be just like 90% or like 100% going to the supply to the circulate. So I would say that for builders, it's going to be much more difficult for them to actually get their hands on the tokens, and yeah, I think it's kind of like a 50-50 way.
Yeah, I'm totally in the negative camp with this right now because if we don't fix the value proposition for tokens, we could see a huge transition in the current state of what crypto exists today. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of reasons that you and I and everybody here own something, right? And most of the time it's because we derive value from it. Maybe sometimes it's because you have to have it. But if we are not focused on value accrual mechanisms, and I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be rev share or profit sharing back to the token, but you do have to derive some value from it. And if we're not focused on that user story, And we're continuing to perpetuate this launch anything at any time and saturate the market and oversaturate it. You create this perception that people have for crypto, and you're going to get like eaten up by equities and securitization on chain, where the purpose of those shares or the tokens are to derive value back to the shareholders or token holders. So I think if we don't fix this right now and we continue down this path, it's going to be very negative for many people, and maybe this rendition of crypto and as it exists today no longer holds.
Definitely. So, but I'm very positively about everyone should have a token, because stablecoin is already being everywhere. Like 10 years ago, we still pay by cash. Right now, we all pay by like digital payment solution. And after that, stablecoin definitely will be the future solution for everyone, no matter cross-border sentiment or daily payments. So for sure, yeah, I'm very positive about it.
I see. So probably saying the tokenization everything in a different way. Probably it means like in the future, as long as you have smartphones, you will be having all kinds of different tokens in your smartphone rather casually, and at that state, it's going to be like the everyone kind of becoming a trader in some form, in that kind of hypothesis. And then I guess you guys, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that you guys have a different positions on this topic. But let's say maybe from the speaking from the user side, or what I call a trader side. What the impact of that change you think? Like, what kind of society it can create, or from the negative side, what we should be doing before that kind of thing happening. Maybe Karan, you can go first.
Yeah. So I mean, this is programmable money, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. I think it's underexplored as far as what really gets done, just like I think the NFT primitive was underexplored for what it could deliver for users. So if you have a smartphone and we've created all these tokens that you can utilize across your points, rewards mechanisms that exist in everyday life right now. If you go to a convenience store, you can have a points program. So this stuff could all be integral part of it. I think agentic, we've seen a huge explosion of AI agent stuff. So I think that could be really interesting for people to hold composition, right? Like you could imagine personalized, tailored index funds. It's funny, I met my co-founder at Amsterdam at Breakpoint, and he was sitting across from me, and he said, I believe in a future where we wouldn't be exchanging normal like currency as we know it today. We'd all just be exchanging short-term commodities futures based on our consumption habits. So I don't own a bunch of corn futures because I consume a lot of tortillas, right? And the algorithms would know when we need to exchange something based on our consumption, like what we have in excess and what we need. So you could see a future like that. I think that the other thing, when you ask that question, the thing that came to mind is 90 to 99% of retail traders lose money. So I hope that that's not the direction that we go if this is going to be, trader in the traditional sense.
Makes sense. Maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so personally, I think that 100% that we should focus on the mobile-first experience, especially if you are doing a D-app or if you are on the application side, that's totally, you have to focus on that yet, but even if you are building on the D-app side, then you should also see the customization on mobile-first experience is one of your top priority, because people are on the go all the time. For example, like you guys traveling here and you are always on your phone, right? Not always you have on your laptop or PC or anything like that. So I think for most of us building stuff here, then we should definitely focus on that. Yeah, so like for the trading side, I think that, people bet on casino also on their phone all the time. So basically right now with a lot of tokens right now, is basically, I would say a Web3 kind of casino. So yeah, people will be on their phone doing stuff all day, and that should be the top priority.
Yes, so I see it kind of like in different way. So the key is all about regulation. Like if people all adopt like token or stablecoin or whatever, but scam also happen a lot. Basically, that will be the signal for the whole cycle. It will be end very quickly because too much scam on there, and there too much violation of the regulation happen, and some bigger power will stop it very early. So that is why, like in the state, we have Genius Act, but not passed yet. But they show us how we can do that. And Hong Kong also have the Stablecoin Act already been passed. They give us a like, right way to implement it. And you can see there's a lot of new stock, MicroStrategy, like a company going out. Like MicroStrategy itself, in Japan, we have a Metaplanet. Hong Kong, we have Hong Kong Asia Holdings. And there's a bunch of new kind of stock. Actually, in fact, they are token. They're not stock. We all know that. Like in Japan, why people bought Metaplanet? Because you bought Bitcoin, they charge you 40% tax, but you earn money from stock, you only 20%. Then why not?
You know the state of the Japanese market very well. Actually, the Metaplanet is like a Japanese version of MicroStrategy, the strategy currently called, and basically it's like a trend, not just like in the Web3, but the traditional finance industry, and the stock price, went crazy. Has been, yeah. So that's good to know that you know that very well. Also, like speaking of the Japanese market, everyone basically, they are not really educated in a way that they should invest like aggressively, let's say. So they are more like they put their money on bank accounts and then basically leave them. So like for coming back to the previous question, where we may have like everyone becoming a trader. I think to the Japanese people, it's like, oh, really, do I have to become a trader? So I guess there's some kind of like educational approach that is needed, and probably that may be something to do with this value value proposition is needed for the tokens, right? Maybe do you want to add something from the perspective of the education, I guess? Like what? Like, if in the future with smartphones, everyone's having a trader, how should we like teach them, or how should we educate them about like this lots of tokens in a smartphone, basically? Maybe you can go as well. Yeah, anyone can go first.
Yeah. The regulatory bodies have clear structures, definitions for how you deliver information to users, right? Crypto does not do any of that, right? It advertises APYs that if you dig into it even a little bit deeper, you notice that like the 90% return that you're getting is actually in a token that's diluting by 100% year over year. So, the SEC for the 506B Form C, which is you're allowed to do an unregistered security offering to people, but you're not allowed to advertise. And if you look at what the SEC constitutes as advertising, it's to excite or entice investment, which is very it could cover a lot of different things, but I think that that's what we're doing here in crypto, is that you are not educating the user. You're presenting them with like disingenuous information at best and fraudulent information at worst. And you're not encouraging them to understand, because your competitor, even if you want to do it the right way, your competitor is not motivated to do the, they're not motivated to do it, so they won't do it. So if you're advertising 3% return on yield and they're advertising 90%, that's where liquidity goes. So I think there's an opportunity for self-regulation first and foremost, but then like education on this stuff, surfacing it. I think that quality builders should bound together, start delivering like this quality stuff, setting the standards. Because if you don't, then you have Daddy come in and he's gonna make sure that you do it the right way.
So, like in some kind of, sometimes I think we should have a new kind of auditing company called APR auditing or APY auditing. They will give you a report telling you like, hey, this 90% got 80% just for future token. The token might go zero. We give you an alert about that, and the 10% it should be fine right now in some way. But currently, no one doing that. And we every single DeFi protocol, when they need TVL, they will make the numbers slightly bigger than ever. Like every quarterly, you can see every single DeFi protocol doing the similar thing. So why not? We should have a like API auditing company.
Yeah, so like I think that it's going to be different countries to countries. Like localization is really important. Like you mentioned that Japanese don't really like to trade, right? So basically they like to do stakings and earning yields, really stable. And I think that for us as builders of projects, we should like do some kind of like localization, educational contents adjusted to the country. For example, if I'm doing it, then I will be doing educational content about the features that is bringing stable use to the Japanese. But like for Koreans or like Vietnamese, then it's going to be more of a trading side where people are putting a little bit of money, but like they are expecting massive returns or anything like that, or even they are putting a lot and expecting like a lot more. So basically, it's going to be different from country to country. And I suppose that in terms of the regulation is also important. Like if we are going to get a lot more tokens, as if we are already having a lot right now, but like from country to countries, then how people perceive the token is going to be different. Like, is it going to be security? Is going to be like just merely a virtual asset or like anything like that? And with that kind of classifying, I would say that for each country they're gonna have different approach, and we should have to do adjustment to that too. Yeah.
Well, I'll say like casinos have posted odds, right? Like video games have been required now to say like what this is, and if that's like bare minimum, right? And we're not even doing that. Like, what do you expect to happen here? LPs lose money. We've called this a concept of impermanent loss, and you're like, like what is that? What is IL? And like does this make any sense? So I agree. I think that the education piece is important, but I think that there could be, like you said, you could go across and you could say like, this stuff is approved, but it gets boring compared to your competitor that has the flashing lights and isn't going to do any of that stuff, and that's the nature of an unregulated environment.
So this movement of everyone gets a token may progress or may not. We'll see. But what would you guys be paying attention to, like in terms of like news events, or, I don't know, incidents, social movements? What would be the trigger or catalyst to make this movement forward or backward? Maybe Madao, you want to say something first?
So definitely this cycle in Trump's like this next 3 years, we will see something happen. Definitely, like maybe you will leverage stablecoin to observe these dApps. Maybe, like if that happen, then that which means like stablecoins adoption will get at least 100x that right now we have. It will be very crazy and wild. But in the meanwhile, the next election happen, what will collapse? Maybe a bigger currency happen. It will collapse again. Yeah, so that is what I'm saying.
I guess you are also looking closely at this stablecoin act, the Genius Act. Do you think that's going to be like huge impact on like everything? I mean, we don't know the exact content maybe yet, but yeah.
Sure, definitely. The major concept about Genius is about if you issue a stablecoin, the only utility back only can buy like the like 5 years or 20 years something bond about it. Yeah, the only utility is that.
Yeah, Ken.
Yes, and as you mentioned, Trump. So I will be like putting notification on his Twitter account a lot, like maybe like on an hourly basis or something like that. And yeah, also aside from that, it's gonna be government announcement. Um, there will be some kind of, I would say, more focused countries that we should be looking at, because whenever these countries gonna announce something, it's gonna affect the whole market. So it will be one of them. And I would say also in terms of, for example, Solana Summit, and also any like major conference, there will be movement that we can already see from the builders attending, and also the quality and everything. So I think it's going to be a good source of information to, if we can, catch some wave ahead of that. And yeah.
Yeah, I think, obviously news of regulation is important. Any U.S. leads the way in a lot of that, like enforcement and direction there. I'm quite interested in token holder rights. That's for people familiar with Uniswap, there was a vote to accrue value, turn on the fee switch to drive it back to UniToken. The foundation unilaterally overrode that and said that we're not going to do it. If you look at that at face value, you say, what's the point of the UniToken then, right? Because we have driven a massive amount of fees back to the equity holders in the foundation or in the labs stake back to labs. And here we said, oh, well, here's UniToken. It's just for the vibes, right? And so quite interested to see what's going on with token holder rights, because you need somebody to buy your token. And if you don't have a buyer of your token, what happens to your token price? And it's all hunky-dory. You can have 1 million tokens. You can be token rich where, the price of the token's there, but if you drive any liquidity towards it, like you have 100%, 99% slippage there. So I think that, as I said, speaking to this negatively, looking to the value accrual mechanisms here, I think really will be important for this next chapter of it, because otherwise, and you've seen this, right? RWAs are coming on chain. So if this is a representation of equity in a company, and I can just go issue that, and then you can have it on chain, what was the point of any of the tokens that have been created before that outside of the layer 1 tokens? So, cautiously optimistic that we can solve this, but definitely think it's a huge problem in the current landscape for tokens as it exists today.
Makes sense. So lastly, maybe can you guys talk a bit more about your own project, and then what are you guys doing will be or is already contributing to this conversation about tokenizing everything, or everyone having token, or if you have a plan, that's also great. If you are already doing something, that's also great. Maybe, yeah, Coran, you wanna start again?
I'll start. I'll keep it short. It's funny that I view it negatively, and then MetaDAO just created its launch pad for tokens, and I'm here looking for founders that want to launch a token that's not screwed over by VC or accelerator investment. Yeah, so MetaDAO uses Futarchy, which is a novel concept created by Robin Hanson, economist, in 1999. said, shall we vote on values but bet on beliefs? And he used some inference from markets to say, markets seem to know ahead of time what a, what a decision or could be leveraged to make a decision. You can imagine it as like you take Apple shares and Apple needs to make a decision to fire Tim Cook or not. And so you have the creation of, fire Tim Cook or keep Tim Cook, and then you create these two markets, they get to trade independently, and whichever has the higher price at the end is the decision that's made. So we implemented that on Solana. We built that to accelerate the adoption of Futarchy. We said, why don't we build a launch pad where people can raise money, that money gets transferred under Futarchy, you have to raise proposals, have the markets determine what the best value for the token is there, and that's what we're currently working on.
Ken, maybe? Yeah.
Okay, so for Saros right now, what we are trying to do is basically enhance the liquidity layer on Solana. So for example, for current projects, we have just been launched, so you guys can come to us and we can find a way to enhance the liquidity management on those tokens. So we can talk on that later. And also for Mata, I think that you have built a lot of DeFi projects with a lot of TVL. So I think that the goals is kind of the same because for tradings and everything, you need liquidity and a thick one. So in terms of minimizing any kind of like risk related to trade, like slippage, any kind of like MEV or any type of that, gonna need a lot of efforts into the liquidity. So that's what we are trying to do with Saros right now. Yeah.
So about us, Unitas, also known as Unipay, so we're building a yield-bearing stablecoin called USDU. So we're backed by GLP, which means our strategy basically providing the highest yield in the whole yield-bearing stablecoin market. We're open for 12% APR. It's pure stable back. So yeah, so like next week we're going to open for retail user on mainnet, and after that we will cooperate with some family office, some liquid fund to like trying to boost up the TVLs, everything. So we are very open for cooperation with other DeFi protocols, and anyone have the asset management needs, like more than welcome to talk with. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. Actually, that was the last question, and yeah, surely I think this is like a really interesting topic. Anyway, we'll see. Again, if this trend goes smoothly or not. Certainly, like Trump, the Americans, what they're doing on the stablecoin side or the other things that also have a huge impact. But recently, Solana and I guess also Solana Foundation is also pushing this idea of internet capital markets, and that's actually is also like, or bits of it is happening in the Japanese market as well. And then just maybe also a little bit advertising, but we're going to be having a conference in Tokyo, Super Tokyo, in August 24th. So everyone, please come to Tokyo in August. But yes, surely this is like super interesting topic, and I'm super happy to happy that I moderate this panel, and thank you everyone for listening. And yeah, this is the last panel, so yeah, maybe let's enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.